So I forgot to hit record. Welcome back, YouTube. This is part 5 of our Project Sally Revive and Drive, which means there's 4 other videos along with this one. If this is your first time to the channel, we want to invite you to check out those prior videos. Also, if you're liking this project, be sure to subscribe. We have Project Sally back in the garage now. She's back from the frame machine and she's presenting quite well. In this video, we get to the part Sam has been patiently awaiting. We get to actually unbox some of these new parts that she's been saving up to buy. We're going to go ahead and try to get the radiator, the fan, and the condenser back on the car. We're also going to replace the thermostat while we're in there, and we want to see if we can get the car to run, get it heat up, get all the fluids back in it. Should be a fun one. Stick around. Here is the first look of our frame rail damage that's been repaired. As you can see right there, they end up getting that buckle out. Everything's pretty much straight again. You see right there on the frame rail where the buckle was fixed. But you can also see we got some bare metal areas there. And then right here where the 2 pieces of metal come together, the top of that you can see is all bare metal. So what we want to do is do a thorough cleaning in this engine bay, and then we're going to scuff that, tape it up, and put some primer and paint on it. We might as well clean every bit of this. You can see here we've got just quite a bit of dirt built up over the years, along with the inner fender and this frame rail. While I'm in here, I'm just going to touch up some of this area that was rusting where these 2 panels come together, and I'm just using a piece of 80 grit on sandpaper. My main concern is just getting a little bit of paint where they straightened out this buckle when they had it on the frame machine. A hard area to get to. And I don't really, we've already had the fuse block off when we was doing the pulling, and I don't want to take it back off. So we're going to tape all this up, and then we will paint, primer and paint. Might would have been easier just to try to brush this. But we're going to try to spray it with just some rattle can primer, and we've got some paint that actually matches up pretty good. And what we'll do with that paint, once it's dry, we'll come back and just slightly scuff it with a gray Scotch-Brite just to take the sheen off of it, and I believe it will match what we've got in here. At least that's what we're hoping. Alright, so here's a look at the paint on the repair area. Like I said, that paint doesn't match 100%, but I believe once everything's put back in place and our AC line is up against that rail, I believe it will virtually disappear. We're not going for 100% correct here. We're just trying to get this old girl back on the road. So off camera, we went ahead and installed our AC line. You can see where we did our painting on the frame rail there. We've got the AC line in place. We did this off camera. It's just so hard to film. You see down there where it connects to the condenser. And we've got the battery tray back in it with the battery. And all the way back there, you can see where that AC line tucks into the firewall, to the firewall box. It's just too hard to film, but we do have that installed now. Along with having the car really clean, we did a deep cleaning on the engine bay, all of the inner fender aprons and everything. We've got all that cleaned up, and we're ready for the next step. Alright, so when the car made the trip to the frame machine, we went ahead and wire tied everything up really good, and we went ahead and put some plastic bags around everything just to protect all the electrical connections from moisture, since we didn't have a front end on this car. So to start off with, we're going to undo some of these wire ties, get some things positioned so we can get ready to work. So we left our old assembly already together, pulled it out as one unit. That way it'd be a lot easier to figure out how all this stuff went together as we dive into some of these new parts. Pull it straight up, and then we'll set it down on the. Hang on a second. Seat at the bottom of the box. Throw this in there. Alright, so. Alright, set it down. See which side you got here by looking at the other one.
Fan goes on this side. Fan goes on this side. Cause look, there's the hole right there.
This drain is on the bottom, so that's it right there. Right? Yep, because this piece is broke off. Yep, so then your fan is going to sit down over here.
Where's the fan? Right there.
Yep. So Sam has been saving her own money from working, and she's bought all these parts herself, with the exception of the steering wheel. That was a gift. That was a gift. So this radiator here is an aftermarket.
I thought that we got that from Ford.
No, this we got it.
We got from O'Reilly's.
O'Reilly's, and it was basically $180.
Yeah. Even bought the seat.
Does it come with anything in the box?
No.
Okay. This is also an aftermarket fan.
A piece of cardboard.
There's something in there. Yeah. Throw it in the box. You know, this one don't creak.
Yeah, that radiator was loud. It was loud. I bet this one might be loud too, but that was a loud radiator.
Let's see how that one. Does that one go down in there? It does, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, but first.
Let me get this up.
We've got to put these on.
We're using the same bolts.
Yeah, you have to, I think. But it comes with these new U-clips.
I think it's backwards, to be honest with you.
Work backwards.
No, it's not backwards. No. We don't have.
Alright, so let's see something here.
We don't have those things.
Well, we got these.
And we don't have the things that come in.
What was in that?
See, that's same thing you got in your hand, but we don't have this part on the radiator.
No, we don't.
We just have the bolts. It looks, oh yeah. The ones on the top are already there. Right there.
Okay.
They already have those on there.
What about these? Yep.
There's some on the front, like on the front right here. And on the other side, that's what those might be for.
Alright.
And the bolts right there.
The bolts. Oh.
What?
Yeah, we gotta reuse them, I guess. Let's look, oh God, look at the mess we're making. So at first glance, everything is really close. One thing we did notice, it's got two places here on this fan shroud for bolts, and I don't remember what bolted up there. We'll have to look and see. This one doesn't have it. But we're going to go ahead and start putting some bolts in this thing. Alright, just snug it. Don't tighten it real tight, just snug it in case we got to move some of the others.
Okay.
Alright, so we're getting a little ahead of ourselves. We got to take this back off because there on the bottom is a rubber bumper that mounts right up against the radiator. Alright, there's a little rubber bumper in place, and we've just got her snugged down. Now, this doesn't have any provisions for the bolts, which I believe is where our AC clamped up to. I'll have to double check that, but we may end up having to come up with a different scenario for that. Right now we're working on getting this old fan off of the old radiator. You're going to have to stand it up and take that reservoir off. Just about, just a little bit, that way it ain't under so much pressure now. See if it'll pull off. It may be sealed on there.
No,
Won't do it?
I don't think so.
Alright, hold on. Hold the radiator, I'll get you another tool.
Okay.
You can take this pick and poke in there. Just don't poke the rubber.
Okay,
Make it face. Oh, you got it loose. That ought to come out, Sam. It's turning now. It ain't. Sometimes if you take a pick, you can break the seal, but if you got it turning, it should pull on out. You may have to pull backwards and twist at the same time. Is it coming?
Mm-hmm.
There, you got it.
You got it.
You got it. Alright guys, she's going for the big one now. Alright, give it a twist, see if she'll come. There you go, now see if you can bring it back. There you're getting it. A little bit more, there you got it. Now, you can see, sometimes these things are stuck on there, and I believe that one is. There it is. Take it the rest of the way off there. You're gonna have to, there you go. Give her some more pulling. There, you got it.
Got some powder in there.
Yeah.
Where did that go?
That's the other clamp for the other side.
Oh, okay.
So one of the tools I don't have is a reverse Torx. Looks like for these bottom bolts that bolt into the radiator housing, you need one. So I'm gonna put it on my list to get. And for now, I'm gonna try the redneck way. I'm gonna break it. I don't want to damage it, same bow. I wonder if I had 2 jam nuts. I really need to invest in some reverse Torx. I don't have these on Camaro, Sam.
It's a Ford thing.
It must be. It must be a Ford thing. What I'm going to try to do, Sambo Rambo, is jam these things together and see if I can back them out. Nope. What a booger. Would you look at that?
You did it. I don't know how.
I jammed them together.
Just threw that.
And the
Through
question
that.
is, can we get them apart?
Uh-oh. We just created a bigger problem.
Yay. Does this mean we shouldn't buy a set of reverse Torx now?
I think we probably should.
Think we
There
should?
might be more that we don't know about. We still have to put those back in.
I know it. That's the problem too.
We need some reverse Torx.
You know why they make stuff like this?
Why?
Get you to buy more tools. A mechanic I am not, Rambo. Put down on the tool list, reverse Torx bit set. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if anybody remembers these tools. This is a Robo Grip by Craftsman. It's kind of like a pair of channel locks that was supposed to be just a quick thing. They was always coming out with these new fads, and I bought my dad a set of them. And this happens to be that set. When he passed, I went ahead and put them in my toolbox. So I use them quite a bit too. Alright, so now we'll use these bolts. Now we can flip the radiator over, see if we can get these studs in the very bottom. So our new studs just go in the bottom of our radiator. Sam's going to put them in. You got the Torx facing up. Yep. Don't cross thread it. And we'll take the nuts and jam them up snug. That tightened it up. Then it started coming loose. The nuts came loose a little bit. There it goes, a little bit tighter. It's hard to judge. It's mashed down the copper. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to break the plastic. This is plastic we're dealing with here. Alright, so this is the moment we've been waiting for. This piece of garbage can go outside in the pile. And look what a mess I made on my floor. Alright, cut her down.
So much cleaner.
Alright, third time's a charm. This little rubber bumper that was right here that we forgot, there's also one right there on the top side. So now we think we're ready to actually install our new radiator. Alright, so we're going to see about getting this radiator set in place. Sam's got our little rubber bumpers here. She's going to put in our new subframe. And see if we can't get the mounting of this thing underway.
We should tighten these bolts on this subframe because remember we only snugged them for Jerry.
No, we did that last time we worked on it, remember?
We tightened it?
Yeah, me and Griff tightened them.
Did we tighten the ones from up here?
Yep, those and the sway bar.
Okay.
Alright, so we're ready to set her in place. Sammy's been waiting on this moment. Let's see here. Tell you what, that one went in a little bit better than that old one came out.
Yeah, we took that one down under.
Alright, so you can see right there, our radiator is sitting in the rubber bumper on our subframe. On that side, and on that side.
How do we get her in here?
And it's looking pretty decent, I must say. Yeah, don't tighten it all the way up till you get the other one, and then go to the other side and do it, and then we'll make sure the radiator's setting right, and then we'll tighten her down. How this transmission cooler sits in here before we go any further, and then we'll call it an evening. What do you say?
I think it bolts right up there, I believe. Where does the transmission cooler hook up?
Huh?
Does it have any plugs? Is it a plug and play?
Well, it's got some bolts, but if I remember right,
So it's still hooked up to
the
it.
condenser gets sandwiched in between here too. See?
Sandwich?
Yeah. It's a transmission cooler sandwich.
So
sounds pretty
the air
tasty.
well, look, where does that go to? Where does that point go to?
This part,
Mm-hmm.
that is the condenser line.
Where does that hook up?
To the condenser. See, we've got a condenser over there that goes in front of here. So
we gotta bolt that up, but the transmission cooler doesn't have any plugs like the radiator does, right?
no, we never took it loose. See, it's got the lines here.
We only unbolted it.
Yeah, we just unbolted it.
What happens if we find out that's broken?
Well, it ain't really leaking. I think it's okay. And we just straightened out the mounting on it, and I think we're okay on it. Okay. If not, we get to enjoy this again. All right, guys, the radiator's in place. The transmission cooler looks like it fits just fine. So that's going to be a wrap for tonight. We're going to clean up this mess. We'll be back out here tomorrow. We'll start with the thermostat and getting all the hoses, electrical connections, and the condenser going. Griff will be here tomorrow, so it'll be all three of us, and hopefully get this thing underway. Alright, YouTube, Sam's went inside. I've been out here cleaning up. I just wanted to come back online and just tell you guys, just as a dad, how proud I am of Sam. Like I mentioned, she's bought all these parts with her own money. She's working a part-time job, and she's saving up to buy these parts. And I've been helping her a little bit on a few odds and ends, but like I said, for the most part, she's bought all these parts. And you know, I was really against this project at the very beginning. I wasn't against it because it was a Mustang, because I knew Sam always wanted a Mustang, but it wasn't like I already had two cars that wasn't torn apart. What would a third one be? It was a lot of unknowns, and you know, just really didn't know what I was getting myself into. I offered her a compromise to basically save up her money. I would match what she saved, and we would buy a Mustang. I even went on Facebook Marketplace and looked at what was selling at the time. I was looking at cars that was around 70,000 miles, maybe $11,000, $12,000. Still V6 base Mustangs, but some really nice cars. But I did decide to take this project on, number one, to give Sammy and Griff some experience working on cars, just wrenching. Number two, I really think she's going to appreciate this car a lot more, being that she worked hard for the money to put it back together. And basically just to have them out here in the garage and bring you guys some content. I know this is a little bit different video than what you're used to seeing on this channel, but it is still pretty interesting, and I'm actually learning a lot myself. I'm not a mechanic by any means, and I don't really work on new cars. Can't stand to work on my own other than oil changes and rotating the tires. And that's about all I really get into. Anyway, I appreciate everybody watching. Be sure to subscribe. We'll be back out here tomorrow making more progress. Alright guys, we're back. It's the next day. It's kind of a late evening. We got a short evening here, end up having to work late. But we are going to try to make some progress. We're going to start with the AC condenser, and we're going to go ahead and see if we can't get it installed. Alright, so just a little advice here. Don't throw anything away when you're doing this type of work. We ended up having to get the old condenser and take the studs out of the in and out lines and reuse them on our new one. You see right here and right here. And now we're going to go ahead and take it down through the front here. Just watch that hood thing. Take it right through there and drop her down. Alright. Now this should just, it's got the
Hold it right there.
yeah.
What's this? Someone's poking through.
No, that's the deflectors for it. Is it
It's
not?
supposed to be there. It's being, it's a wiggling a little.
Is it not going in?
No, it's in. It's there.
Yeah, my side ain't. Alright, so this is a real tight fit in here. You can see the condenser is mounted to the radiator shroud, and it's got the transmission cooler sandwiched in. Now we're ready to connect our lines, and before we do, we're going to go ahead and put some PAG oil around these O-rings. They look like they're intact. They're a little tight to fit them in. We'll see if we can get them.
That's why you wear gloves. Look at your finger.
I know it's got dye in it, so you can see if it's got a leak.
I was reading the instructions.
I bet this stuff is messy. Alright, let's see if we can get it on there. There it is. Beautiful.
Hell yeah, tighten it down. There's two, ain't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, those air condenser lines do be tight, don't they?
Yeah.
You can't get no fancy tool on there.
You can probably get a box end wrench. Let's get a regular box end wrench and put on it. Like I said, I don't want it. It's got an O-ring seal. I don't want to take a chance in. It's all aluminum. Let me get a regular box end wrench. So just because you got these fancy ratchet wrenches, don't give up on the regular box end wrench. Yeah, I don't want to do it no tighter than that. That's
Mustang parts will
pretty tight.
make you go crazy if you only have fancy wrenches.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got the one more to do up here. We have to pull a vacuum, pull all the pressure out of it before we can charge it with refrigerant.
How are we going to do that?
We got the stuff to do it. I'll show you when we get there.
It's a lot of work.
Right now, we just got to worry about getting this thing installed at this point.
What all do we have to do to get her running?
Yeah, we gotta finish this. There was this clamp here that would have originally bolted on the original.
So we have an extra one because it doesn't have that.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Does it look okay without bolting?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that what that is gonna bolt to?
Yeah, I think it's pretty tight. It ain't gonna get in the fan, I don't think.
I thought this was what was bolting.
No.
Or a piece of it. It's not gonna get in the fan and it's not gonna hit the bolt belt, is it?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Alright guys, here is one AC condenser installed. Everything turned out really nice. I was worried about this line going in. This is the line we had to replace, if you remember, from the damage. All this was busted, but everything seemed to fit up just right. This is actually off of a different car. I got this line from the same fella that I got the seats from, and you can see just right there just what a tight fit that AC line actually is and where it goes. But I don't see anything rubbing on anything. This here, it's got the foam on it, so I think it's going to be okay. That was one of the things I was worried about throughout this whole project. You can see, looking down, everything looks okay. I don't see anything that's actually going to rub or anything like that. So overall, pretty happy with the way that turned out. Alright, like I said, we got a late start this evening. We still got all the hoses, reservoir, we've got fluids. We still got to pull a vacuum on the AC system, add the oil and refrigerant, so we still got a ways to go. Griff wasn't able to be here tonight, and hopefully the next time we're out here working, he'll be able to be here, and all three of us will be working on this thing together. Alright guys, we're back on the Mustang tonight. Hopefully we'll get all the parts back on, get it filled with some fluids, and hopefully we'll hear it run. So this is the thermostat that we pulled out of the car. Sam and Griff said that it didn't really heat up as far as the heater goes. If it was just sitting there idling, you had to be driving the car for the heater to work. So while we were into it this far, I decided just to go ahead and swap out to a new thermostat. This one had a Motorcraft, and it was 1167. It was part number 1167, and we ordered one, the exact same one, to go in. But one of the things that we had trouble with finding was the gasket for it. The parts guy, he actually brought several of these gaskets out, and we thought we were going to have to reuse the same one, but he did bring this one out. And if you're doing this project yourself, we went with a 2271 gasket, and that's at an O'Reilly's Auto Parts. Not sponsored by them, but if you have one of those in your area, the 2271 was the one that fit. There was several that was loose, several that would not even fit over this part, and so the 2271 is pretty close to the original. What a lot of people are doing, they're just changing out this whole plastic assembly, but for us at this stage, we're just changing out this thermostat right here, and then the top piece goes right in over top of that. They actually make a metal, I don't know if it's aluminum or a cast housing to replace this plastic one, and a lot of people convert to that. But we're trying to keep the cost down at this point, and so we're just doing what we got to do. Some people actually take the throttle body off to do this. We didn't really have to, just where we were just changing the thermostat only. And actually the guy at the parts store said this thermostat had been changed before because it was like a 190 degree thermostat, and the book actually called for 192, but I mean it was a Motorcraft, so I'm almost of the belief that it came with this 1167. What do you think, Griff?
I wouldn't know.
I would have figured if somebody would have changed it out before, they probably wouldn't have went back with a Motorcraft.
Yeah. Might have put the wrong one in there.
They might have used what they had. They may have been out, and
Yeah.
2 degrees ain't gonna matter anyway.
One thing about it, this thing is getting a little harder to work on the more pieces we put on it.
It's puking on us.
It's peeing again. Oh Lord. Oh Lord, this thing's peeing again.
Not again.
Yeah, give me a rag.
Not again.
Alright.
You need to push on that one.
Alright. I think about got it. Fill this thing full of simple green,
Yeah, I've used a lot of that.
and then we're going to shake it.
Okay. Put the lid on it.
Yep.
Shake it.
Put the lid on it.
Used a lot of simple green.
Shake it.
'Cause it's dirty.
We'll have to rinse this out really good.
Yeah. See if I can shake her out.
It's going to have to set a little bit.
Yeah.
So let me see if I got some more of it.
We got one section clean.
Alright guys, we let the simple green sit in this container for about 24 hours, and really there was no change from last night. I even tried some hot water. I drained the simple green back in the container and put hot water in it, really shook it, hoping that that dirt would loosen up and go away, but it didn't work. This thing has about 3 different compartments in it, and you can get the rag in one compartment here, but there's another one over to the front and this one over to this side, and you just can't. So I was like, well, what could I use? Years ago when I was younger, I was always into aquariums, and I still had some of my aquarium gravel. So I did fill it up with aquarium gravel, and that's what's in there now. Just, I don't know, about a half a cup full. You can hear the noise that it's making. What it has done, it has allowed that gravel to go into those separate compartments, and it is getting rid of the dirt. As you can see here, it's coming off. Now, some of this that you're seeing here and over in here, that's the gravel there. You can see when I move it around. So hopefully we don't have no trouble getting this gravel out and want to wash it several times. But it is working. I'd actually already told Sam I thought we was just gonna have to replace it, but I think we may be okay. And right here's a look at that gravel that I was using. Like I said, it don't have any jagged edges. It's just mainly smooth, but it was large enough to get the job done. Alright guys, who knew? A little bit of aquarium gravel in the bottom of this thing, moving it around where it would go into the other compartments, and then several times of just vigorously shaking it and rinsing it out. It has come clean, and really happy with the way that it turned out. Alright guys, it's time to put the antifreeze in. We got the Motorcraft Gold, and this is the concentrate, so we'll be mixing it 50-50 with some distilled water. Alright, Miss Sammy, what I want you to do is just fill the bucket up about halfway with water, and then fill it up halfway with the antifreeze. You pull the water, and I'll pull the antifreeze. This Mustang takes 4 gallon is what it says. We're going to mix it 50-50. And I don't know if we'll use all of this. We've got a total of 4 gallon. I don't know what's in the block, so we'll just have to see. I expected this antifreeze to have a little bit more color than this.
Me too.
Yeah, me too.
It's splashing down. I thought this was spill free. I said I thought this was spill free.
Supposed to be spill free, not bubble free.
Spill free thing.
No. It smells weird.
Go slow, because this will be 2 gallon. I don't know how much it'll take.
Sammy, you're putting pee in your Ford.
In the floor?
In your Ford.
Oh, I was like, in the floor, it's leaking.
In your Ford. You're putting pee in your Ford.
I'm putting pee in my bird.
Yeah.
I'm splashed.
Your Ford's making a mess.
The bird is making a mess. Yes, it is. You don't see leaking?
I don't think so.
Alright, better. Still going.
2 gallon gets 0 temperature sometimes
Not
here, but
even
if we do, it's just
We've
maybe a
had
week at a
negative
time.
2 before.
Yeah.
So we've had -2 before up here.
Yeah, but that's very rare.
It is very rare.
On the 50-50 mix, it says it's good to -10. We're just about to the cold fill line, and we don't really want to go any farther.
Yeah.
Now, once this thermostat opens, it's going to circulate through the engine
Yeah.
and through the radiator, and at that point, it is going to come down. And with this funnel, what I plan to do is just go ahead and keep pouring it in until we're up in this direction. And what that's going to allow to happen is the bubbles to continue to come out of it.
Okay.
When they start. The beauty of this funnel is you can, like, if I need to remove that, I can put this stopper down in it, pick this whole thing up.
And it won't leak.
Won't leak, and I can pour it over the bucket and pull it out and dump it back in the bucket. Alright, so we're getting ready to start her up with the coolant in it. As you can see, it's all the way cold. Where's your selector, heat selector at, Sammy? Yeah, I don't want the defrost on.
Yeah. So
I want it on floor or vents, either one. But I just want it on heat.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we're gonna start it, and
Do you
then
want it to like circulate, or does it matter?
You probably want it coming out.
I want it
the
coming
front.
from the outside air. Yeah.
So don't
That's
click
fine.
that.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Okay. You want max AC? No, AC, never mind. Sorry. I just
No AC.
Sorry.
All right. On that transmission cooler. Looks like we get to go back into that again.
It's pretty good.
Is it putting out pretty good air?
Yeah, it's
Alright guys, so she's a runner. The antifreeze is good. We got the air out of the system. We do have a leak on that trans cooler, so we'll have to pull the condenser back off. Most likely we're just going to replace it. We should have done that to begin with, but we'll see where that leak is at and go from there. All right, here's a look at our new transmission cooler that we've installed. We went ahead and installed this off camera. All right guys, we got this transmission cooler in and the condenser is bolted back up. One of the things that I noticed when we originally bolted the condenser up, it fit really tight, and I made some relief cuts around the lines where the transmission cooler hooks up at, and just put a regular hose clamp on that for now, and we're getting ready to pull this condenser back off, start the car. So I forgot to hit record. So we got it running, we got the fan on, and now we're checking for leaks on the new trans cooler. Idling that now.
900.
It's coming on down.
Is that normal for 900?
Huh?
Is it normal for 900? It's normally like.
When it's cold, yeah. Alright, I think you can shut her down. You want to hit the rev once, hit a rev it one time. Alright guys, we got a runner, we got fluids in it, and hopefully everything is ready to go. I want you to come back in the next video. We're going to be tying up a lot of loose ends. We're getting down to the final stretch here. Biggest thing that we've got to do is test fit the front bumper and all the parts that go with it, and then we'll be getting it ready for paint. But if you're enjoying this project, we want to invite you to subscribe to the channel, check out some of the prior videos. As always, we appreciate you guys. Be sure to like and give us a comment. We'll see you next time.